Hola! We're currently learning Spanish, Español, on Duolingo. So I have noticed that I interchange the very basic words that I speak in like everything, even my writing. So I'll say like hola, or I'm like number dos. Anyways, that's fun. Hey, I'm Lacie J. I'm host of Hey Lacie J, the podcast. The podcast. We joke that now I have Hey Lacie J, the website, or the blog. Anyways, this is where we take a whole ass approach to life. So you never know what you're going to get, except for you're going to get something, because everything I usually talk about is something that's going on, something that's being asked, whatever. Gosh, that word is so funny. Asked just comes out as ass sometimes. So sorry, mom, if you're listening to this. Okay, so yesterday I was out for a walk. Friends, I'm going to just tell you now, I just recorded also a podcast about A Rise of 5, and part of it I was talking about walks. I will tell you, if you are an entrepreneur or really anyone who has great ideas, or you have a goal, or you have something exciting, a vision, anything for your life, go for walks. That is where amazing downloads happen. I believe that for everyone, because you're connecting with nature, you're outside, you're not distracted, and you are just able to allow things to flow. If it doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. DM me so we can chat. But on a side note, go grab the Arise of 5 freebie that I have. I have a whole thing, or go listen to the podcast, because I do think that A Rise of 5 has helped change everything for me. It has really gotten me to, I'm getting outside, I'm going for walks, and then these downloads happen. And yesterday, at the time of recording this, yesterday I was on a walk, decided, your girl needs to get her walk in, and might as well have recorded the podcast yesterday because I have it on my phone, but it was windy, and I now talk into my phone. I'm probably going to tell this every podcast now, so if you've already heard this, sorry, but I talk into my phone now, all of my ideas, because I'm usually just talking to myself. Like, oh yeah, Lace, that would be super great. And if you were to ever watch me walk, you'd be like, this girl's nuts. She's a little weird. She's talking to herself. And yes, I talk to myself all the time because I want to talk through my ideas. And anyway, so I've been starting to make notes on my phone so I can actually go back to them. Because I don't know about you, but I think I will remember things and I won't. Part of that is actually something we'll talk about today, but it's because my brain is so full that I think I'm going to remember things. I'm not going to remember them. And then it's exhausting because I'm like, hold on tight to that one thing so I don't forget about it. But then I have, maybe think about it as like Post-it notes. Right now I have tons of Post-it notes because of all my ideas. Like I have probably 125,000 Post-it notes, but in my brain. So think about it that way. Tabs in brain galore. And we all know what happens when you have too many tabs open on your computer. Your computer gets to be slow and you want to chuck it across the room. What do you think happens in your brain when you have 25,000 things open in your brain and you're trying to remember it all, and you get a little slow, okay? You get a little stagnant up in there. It does not matter how much happy juice or nootropics or anything that you drink. Let me tell you, you got to get it out and put it down somewhere, especially to remember. Okay, so I want to talk about what happened in this journey of why I even built out my website, right? We are living in a day and age where I personally am hearing a lot of, you don't need a website to be successful. You don't need a website to make money. Guess what? It's probably true. All right, you don't need a website, you don't need a blog, you don't need anything fancy to make money online. That's the beauty of making money online. The difference is that your girl 4 years ago, 20, whatever it was, it's 2024. So, oh gosh, Lace, it's been way longer than, no, it was around 2020. Gosh, 2020 was a big year, wasn't it? We had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to be inside. But that's funny because that's the whole point. I'm going to go on a little side note. Like, that's the whole point of this book that I'm working on, and it's called Going Within, because when you can take time to go within, your life changes, okay? 2020, I felt like it was a lot of time to reflect. Just saying. Before understanding and hearing about human design, okay, this is pre-human design, I feel like I was very in touch with downloads. I still always had this, either a vision or a little audible voice or some sort of download that I would just get. I'm like, okay. And so in the midst of building, I think on my website, I tell you, it was probably like my 5th network marketing company. I actually still love them very much. But I just kept hearing this voice. I feel like such a nerd talking about this right now. Whatever. I kept hearing this idea of, Lacie, to build your business, build a website, do a podcast, newsletter, Pinterest. Then from all of that, realistically, Pinterest and like social media, but like take your podcast, your newsletter, and your website, all the information you put on that, you put it on Pinterest, you put it on social media, you gather your troops, you find your community. So I had this download. Did I listen? No. 4 years later, I finally said, I have tried going the route, because just to give myself a little bit of like, so you understand, here I am in the network marketing industry. At the time, everyone is like, nope, you do not need a website. Nope. You just build on your social media platforms. You just build in a Facebook group. Great. Honestly, made some great money throughout the years doing that. But it wasn't really heard of 4 years ago to have network marketers have a website, have an email list, have all these things. And so I was dabbling in it, but I never felt confident enough to just go for it, right? To be the person that just did it. Like I kind of did, but not really. Again, confidence. That is why I put in my IG bio that I am a confidence coach for women, because I now know what happens when women gain the confidence. The world changes. Their whole lives change. Communities change. It's insane, the ripple effect that it has when women can step into their confidence. Okay? Side note. But I kept going back. Just use my Instagram. All these influencers are doing it. All of the Instagram gurus are telling me, nope, you just build on Instagram. Well, friends, I think I've shared this probably so many times. If you've heard it before, I'm sorry. But not only have I seen Instagram blackout, how's that building your business now? And those few hours that are gone. Like you cannot get onto Instagram or Facebook, right? I have also heard many stories of influencers who have lost massive brand deals because, you guessed it, they were supposed to have certain things that went out, Instagram glitched. You are signing contracts. Like if you are just relying on social media, you're in trouble. Okay? I talk about this a little bit and why I started a newsletter. Even though I didn't know what I was doing, I still was trying, okay? So when it comes down to building a blog and website, honestly, it's the same thing. I personally finally stepped in saying, this is what I keep being told, and it's the one thing that I'm running away from. And as I stepped and understood human design and listening to my authority and understanding my intuition and hearing that voice and saying, you know what, I'm going to go the way that the rest of the world is saying, oh, you don't need to go that way. You don't need to do that. Well, watch me. I'm going to do it. And you know what? I am truly sharing from experience. My website has officially been launched for less than 2 weeks. So if you're like, eye roll, this girl has no idea what she's talking about, come back later. Maybe I'm on my face in the trenches being like, that was the worst idea ever. But I am also trying to share as I learn and as I go, sharing my story. I only teach and coach on the things that I've actually gone through, but that doesn't mean that I'm not sharing my story while I walk through it. And so that is kind of where I'm coming from with the website and blog launching Hey Lacie J. So I will tell you, it was one of the best things ever. I was terrified. The idea of spending money on a template. Now, there are cheaper ways to do this, but I knew that this was going to be, if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right. And that's what I did. I had found a template a while ago, probably 6-7 months before I actually bought it. And I was like, this brings me so much joy. I love this. One day I am going to buy this template. And I had it bookmarked, and every so often I'd look at it and I was like, I love it. Like, I love the way it makes me feel. So, for those of you who haven't heard the story, I was in fetal position on my bed, having heart and chest pains. Anyways, it was the moment that changed my life. I decided, holy shit, I need to get back into listening to my intuition. Had every signpost of my not self theme within human design screaming at me, and I still kept going down the wrong path. So it led me to this moment, and within an instant, everything changed. And I was like, this is time to go. Like, I have to do something different. And so within a couple of days, I believe, it was like everything shifted. And I remember looking at Ben, and I just had this overwhelming feeling. I was like, I have to build out my website. And so he was going to just build one out for me. We really didn't have the money. Anyways, we got some money in, and there was no like hesitation. And I would love for him to like share his side of this, because he's so much a huge part of this. We were just like, of course. And I said, if I'm going to build a website, I am buying this website template from Tonic. And so if you want to check out their websites, I will put it in the show notes. They are beautiful. They're templates. So then you can kind of create and move from there. They are amazing. I'm sure they all have their own little weird things about them, but obsessed. I bought my dream website. So from there, I was kind of like, okay, this is my journey. I'm choosing to do what I feel called to do versus what I keep hearing all the gurus talk about. I've talked about that in other episodes. I've talked about that on my blog. You're going to continue hearing that, because I probably can't drill it in enough that this is so important. This is the biggest part of human design. This is about understanding who you are and trusting who you are, so that you can confidently walk through life, so that you can show up confident AF. Okay? That's my theme. This is what we're going to talk about. So last night I was going through on my walk, talking all about the blog, and I was like, I love it. Like, I love it. I show up differently in my business because I have my website. The amount of information that I am writing out there and what I'm excited to share on my blog it's like download galore. But the biggest thing that I can take away so far from deciding to go this route is that I have more brain space. For someone who creates more intellectual like stuff for business versus building a hotel, I was talking to one of our friends who builds a hotel. I was trying to explain, like, this website is like an extension of my brain. I said I had so many tabs open in my brain that I physically couldn't handle it anymore. I was driving myself crazy. I wanted to share about, skincare, makeup. Oh, I want to talk about this today. Oh, this lights me up. And as a generator in human design, you truly share in the moment of like, this is what's lighting me up. And so I feel like having the website helps me to be this multi-passionate human, to be human on the internet, and to be able to share my love for beauty, my love for wellness, and my love for human design, my love for coaching, what I'm learning, what I'm sharing, and to actually be able to put it in a place where I then can refer back to it, right? I can say, hey, go to this blog post. Hey, go grab the Arise with 5 guide. Oh, hey, I've made this resource for you. Because the only way that I made the resource is because someone asked me the question or I responded to something that sparked my interest, right? And so building this website as an extension of my brain. It's like I wish I was on video. You'd probably crack up. I'm like acting like I'm holding my brain, but in my hand. And it's like I am able to put out and create so much and have a place to put it. It makes it even better that I'm obsessed with my website because it's so beautiful and I like love having people go to it, and I just feel like I can be your online BFF, right? I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for what I put out there, which is important, you guys. That is important. This is my business. This is like the direction I'm going. And this is what I hope for you too, that whenever you're putting stuff out there, if you choose to do a website or a blog, like you are like, look at what I created. It's amazing, because that energy, you feel it when you go on to that, or your clients go on to your website, they're going to feel the energy. It does not matter how pretty your pictures are. They're feeling this energy that they can't explain. And I only share this because that is the feedback that I have gotten from people going on to my website. They're like, I literally feel you. I hear your voice and your words. Like, it's you. What has happened as I've been able to write the blog posts or record the podcast or put the content out there that has been stuck in my brain for at least 10 years, some of it as long as 10 years, guess what happens? Exit out of that tab, exit out of that tab, exit out of that tab, exit, 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 right? I no longer feel like I have to keep all of this in because I have a place to be able to direct you that's going to help you become a more confident person. That's going to help you with breakouts, because I've dealt with that too. Hey, I'm going to help you create morning routines. I'm going to help you go within. I'm going to help you with this, right? And it's so different than social media. Social media is an incredible tool, but you don't own social media. Social media, your Instagram profile, your Facebook profile is all rented space. Use it wisely, for sure. Like, use it. But when I go to put out a, hey, here's a 3-piece, or here's 3 reasons or 3 things that I've done to help me with a breakout. That's a blog post that I wrote this weekend that I'm going to be putting out, right? In about, 2.4 seconds of putting that out, it's already buried. It's buried. Social media is so loud and so noisy that I started to feel like, well, I have to keep all of this information in my mind because I'm going to have to constantly be re-putting it out to the social media world because it's just getting buried so quickly, right? Well, now I have all I want in my website. I have it on my blog posts. And then as I create even more, like I'll be putting more, and it's just going to be a place where I can put everything onto this blog. Well, not only is it clearing out the brain space and helping me I'm like, is something wrong? I don't feel like I have 1,000 tabs open. I feel like I have more clarity. I feel like my brain is running better. And with the help of, my favorite drinks. But now I can make those posts, but I can always direct back to my blog or my website. Oh, you want to learn more? Here's my 3 tips. Boom, go to the website. Boom, boom. You guys, I truly believe that building out a website is one of the most incredible resources that you will find. From there, then put stuff on social media, then put stuff in and out there to help people or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you are into skincare. Show up, but also say, hey, I have all these resources for you, or hey, get onto my newsletter. I know that this podcast is not about your email list, but if there is one thing, if you are not ready to build out a website, the number one thing that I will tell you to do is to get a newsletter going. Get an email list. It's insane, you guys. The amount per dollar of spending wise, like for every dollar you spend to gather people into your email list, you're making like somewhere, I think around $42 or something close to that. That is insane. It's an incredible way to serve your people. I have a blog post out. I'll link it in the show notes, but you don't have to sound like a robot. You don't have to be annoying. You literally get to be you, and your people will say, hell yeah, I want to be on your newsletter. Hell yeah, I'm going to go check out your blog, because you have provided something of value for them and they have connected with you. It's an incredible way to create community in a world that we do have the online space and the online world now. So I just wanted to share that. I got so many questions of like why I decided to go this route. Even with my podcast, same thing. It's because my intuition told me that this was the route to go. And instead of pushing it down, I am finally moving forward. And I'm sure I will do another podcast episode in the future that says, hey, this is what it's doing. This is what happens when you can listen to your authority, your intuition. This is what happened. Because I don't think I'm failing. Because I'm so much more excited to show up for my business than I ever was trying to be like, oh, I have to make a social media post that I'm like, oh, we'll see how it goes today. No, I feel like I am providing value with the world. The way I show up is just so differently now. It's super exciting. And I'm sure I'll figure out the social media piece on how it goes. So if you have any questions, you guys, seriously, never hesitate to ask me. I am an open book, and as a generator, my strategy is to respond. So the more questions that you ask me, the more that I'm able to actually dig out of myself and provide you with more information. So just so you know, I love it when people ask me questions. I love it when you're like, hey, but what about this? Yeah, so all right, there we have it.